us to play this game and have great teammates to sit up with every single night.
I wasn't that good in the first 2 games here in this building. I watched a lot of film, detailed it out, changed my blueprint.
A 3-1 series lead. Just one more win. The champagne is on ice. The parade plans are in motion, and then disaster. Shots stop falling. Defenses collapse. Before anyone can process what's happening, history is made for all the wrong reasons. Some of the NBA's biggest stars have been part of these nightmare moments, when everything that shouldn't go wrong does. From legendary teams that crumbled under pressure to epic meltdowns that left fans in shock. These are the moments that still haunt franchises to this day. And trust me, some of these collapses are so bad, you won't believe how they actually happened. The Golden State Warriors were on top of the world in 2016. 73 wins, best record in NBA history. Up 3-1 in the finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. One more win, and they cement themselves as the greatest team ever.
And they'll dribble it out. Final seconds here at Oracle Arena. It's official, number 70.
And then the pressure hit. Game 5, Draymond Green, their defensive anchor, got suspended after an altercation with LeBron James. The Warriors suddenly without their enforcer looked shaky. LeBron smelled blood. Kyrie Irving dropped 41 points. Cavs win. Now it's 3-2. Nerves start creeping in. Game 6, must win for Cleveland. And the Warriors, they crumbled. LeBron put up another 41. Kyrie torched them. Steph Curry, foul trouble. Struggling, looking human. The once invincible Warriors were unraveling. Game 7, everything on the line. Tied at 89 and under 2 minutes left. 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐫 gets a fast break layup. This is it. Momentum swing. And then, bam. LeBron James blocks it from behind. Cleveland's crowd erupts. The Warriors shaken. Then Kyrie Irving, one-on-one with Curry. Step back 3, splash. Warriors down 3. No response. The pressure crushed them.
Cleveland's long sports nightmare has ended. The drought is over. 52 years. Time to celebrate a title.
Final score, 93-89. Cavs win. The Warriors, after a historic season, became the first team ever to blow a 3-1 lead in the finals. The best season with the worst ending. The Dallas Mavericks were supposed to cruise through the first round in 2007. They had the best record in the NBA at 67-15. Dirk Nowitzki was the league MVP. Everything was set for a deep playoff run. Then they ran into the Golden State Warriors, a scrappy 8th-seeded team that barely made the playoffs. And that's when things fell apart. Golden State, led by Baron Davis, played fast, aggressive, and fearless.
Putting the Golden State Warriors in front closeout.
Davis has scorched Dallas. This is the best I've ever seen Baron Davis play in the league.
Baron Davis for 3 and he hits.
They had beaten Dallas in the regular season, and it showed. The Mavericks looked lost from Game 1. They couldn't keep up with the Warriors' pace, and Dirk struggled against Golden State's smaller, quicker defenders. By Game 4, the pressure was mounting. Baron Davis was playing like a superstar, and Stephen Jackson locked down Nowitzki. The Warriors took a 3-1 lead. Dallas managed to force a Game 6, but when it mattered most, they collapsed. Dirk shot 2 for 13, and the Warriors blew them out by 25 points. The number 1 seed had been sent home by the number 8 seed. Only the 3rd time in NBA history, a 67-win season meant nothing. For Dallas, it was one of the most painful chokes ever. The 2004 Los Angeles Lakers were a super team before super teams were a thing. Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, 4 Hall of Famers. Anything less than a championship? Failure. And then they ran into the Detroit Pistons. Nobody gave the Pistons a chance. They didn't have a single superstar, just a bunch of defensive-minded players who played as a unit. The Lakers, they were all talent. The Pistons, all teamwork, and that's when things got ugly for LA. Game 1, Detroit set the tone early. The Lakers, used to scoring at will, suddenly looked lost. Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton were outplaying Payton.
guarding Hamilton, which puts it in over Gary to make it 19-18. Lead seesaw.
That's the one.
Payton loses, stolen by Wallace. He's out in front all alone.
Then Wallace was making life miserable for Shaq. The Pistons won easily. Game 2, Kobe hit a game-tying 3 to force overtime, and the Lakers barely escaped with a win. That was their last moment of hope. Game 3, 4, and 5, Detroit put on a defensive clinic. The Lakers had no answer. Shaq and Kobe weren't on the same page. Payton and Malone looked old. The Pistons closed it out in 5 games. The Lakers were supposed to dominate. Instead, they got humbled. One of the biggest finals upsets ever. With 10 minutes left in Game 7, the Portland Trail Blazers were up by 15. They were outplaying the Lakers in their own building. It was happening. The Blazers were about to take down Shaq and Kobe, and the Lakers' championship dreams were slipping away. Then everything fell apart. Portland suddenly forgot how to make a shot. They bricked 12 straight. Layups missed. Jumpers clanked. Free throws? Nope. The rim might as well have had a lid on it. Meanwhile, the Lakers woke up. Shaq started dominating inside. Kobe took over, and the Blazers' confidence? Gone. And then came the moment. The Blazers were scrambling, trying to stop the bleeding. Kobe crossed up his defender, drove into the lane, and, just when it looked like he was going for a shot, he lobbed the ball high into the air. Shaq soared up, grabbed it, and threw down an alley-oop dunk so powerful it shook the entire arena. Game over. The Lakers completed the comeback, winning 89-84.
That's it. I'm not sure if the Lakers won as much as they escaped.
A 15-point lead in the fourth quarter gone. The Blazers had the Lakers on the ropes, but choked at the worst possible time. And that alley-oop, it became one of the most iconic moments in NBA history. Game 7. The Houston Rockets were one win away from taking down the Golden State Warriors and reaching the NBA Finals. Everything was set up perfectly. They had home court advantage, a roaring crowd, and a first-half lead. And then the unthinkable happened. The Rockets suddenly forgot how to shoot. They missed 1 3, then another, and then it just never stopped. 27 straight misses from beyond the arc. 27. That's the longest cold streak in NBA playoff history. At some point, you'd think one would accidentally go in, right? Off the backboard, a lucky bounce, something. Nope, the rim had other plans. James Harden and Eric Gordon kept launching. Trevor Ariza went 0 for 9. Even layups started looking impossible. Meanwhile, the Warriors did what they do best: hit shots. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they smelled blood and took over. The Rockets' 11-point first-half lead disappeared, and so did their championship hopes. Final score, 101-92, the Warriors. Houston had their best chance to dethrone the Warriors, and instead they shot themselves out of it. Literally, it was a meltdown so painful that the basketball gods had to be shaking their heads. The Oklahoma City Thunder were on the verge of something special, up 3-1 against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. They had the best duo in the league, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, running the show. One more win, and they were heading to the NBA Finals.
5. Durant over Iguodala.
Then, everything fell apart. Game 5. The Warriors handled business at home, no big deal. Game 6, now that's where the heartbreak started. OKC led by 13 in the second half. The crowd was quiet. The Warriors looked rattled. Then Klay Thompson decided he had enough. He dropped 41 points and hit an NBA playoff record 11 three-pointers, many of them completely ridiculous. Defenders draped over him, off balance, fading away. It didn't matter. Klay turned into a human cheat code. Game 7, the Thunder still had a chance, but their offense crumbled. Westbrook and Durant shot a combined 12 for 36. The ball movement stopped. Meanwhile, the Warriors were Warriors. Steph Curry hit dagger threes. Draymond Green locked up defensively. And suddenly a 3-1 lead became a 4-3 loss. Just weeks later, Durant left for Golden State, and that was the end of an era. And this wasn't just a collapse. It was a franchise-altering disaster. The Seattle SuperSonics were supposed to cruise through the first round in 1994. They had the best record in the NBA, 63 wins. They had Shawn Kemp, a human highlight reel, and Gary Payton, the most annoying defender you could ever meet. They were the top seed facing the 8th-seeded Denver Nuggets. This was a mismatch. And for the first 2 games, it looked exactly like that. Seattle won both at home, and everyone figured it was over. Then the Nuggets stole Game 3. No big deal, right? Well, then they took Game 4. Suddenly, Seattle was sweating. Game 5 was at home. Should have been an easy win. Instead, Denver forced overtime. The Sonics still had a shot, but then Dikembe Mutombo decided to block everything in sight. Seattle couldn't score, and the Nuggets pulled off the impossible. The image of Mutombo lying on the floor, clutching the ball with tears in his eyes, legendary. The Sonics, not so much. They became the first #1 seed to lose to a #8 seed in NBA history. This wasn't just an upset. It was a collapse so bad that the NBA later changed the first round from a best-of-5 to a best-of-7, just to prevent disasters like this from happening again. The 2015 Clippers were supposed to be different. They had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. Lob City was in full effect. They took a 3-1 series lead over the Rockets, and in Game 6 they were up by 19 points in the third quarter. It was over. Done. The Clippers were finally heading to the conference finals for the first time ever. And then Houston's bench player said, not today. Corey Brewer and Josh Smith, yes, Josh Smith, started draining three-pointers like they were Steph Curry. The Clippers, on the other hand, couldn't hit anything. It was like the basketball gods just unplugged their controller. In the final 14 minutes, they got outscored 40-15. They didn't just lose the lead, they completely melted down. Game 7, forget about it. The Clippers were mentally checked out. Houston won easily, and just like that, Lob City's best chance at a championship was gone. This wasn't just a loss, it was historic. No team had ever blown a 3-1 series lead after being up 19 points in a closeout game.
Scored the Clippers 40-15, and a game they will talk about for a long time in Houston. 119-107, the Rockets.
The Clippers had their shot, and they threw it straight into the trash. If you love content like this, hit that subscribe button. There are plenty more legendary meltdowns to talk about.